Hello, people. Welcome, everyone. Today we have another guest, another important person in the world here in our channel, and very special guest actually. I met him in, I think it was in Hollywood, yeah, because he's a Taiwanese film director, and he has a really characteristic touch in his work. Maybe some of you will. Uh, understand who I'm talking about because his films interact with the modern and the traditions of his culture and with a really good touch of humor. He is Ang Lee.
Hello, it's an honor to be here today.
No, believe me, it's an honor for us to having you here. And you are very familiar to USA, aren't you?
Yeah, I studied at the National Taiwan University of Arts and then moved to Ilonis, USA, where I studied theater and then moved to New York to do a master of the arts.
And I hear that you work with a really well-known director here. Who is he? Tell
Yeah,
us.
at New York City, I worked with Spike Lee producing The Fine Line, and that was our thesis.
Whoa, that has to be a very good thesis.
Yes, to be honest, we cruised.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I trust you, man. But let's talk about you. After that, you have two really hard years of work because in 1992 you have the first movie that was called Pushing Hands. With a movie that with this movie the critics start liking your work and talking really good about you. And then the next year you have another really good movie that was The Wedding Banquet.
Yeah, those years were hard, but I really love the projects because it allowed me to introduce important change, talking for the first time ever about homosexual issues.
Well, that must be a little bit hard to do. I mean, because we see most of the Asiatic cultures as conservative and very stick to their traditions.
To be honest, it was. I had problems with those sides too, not to mention the public.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I can imagine. So tell us, how did you manage to finance these projects?
Well, the idea come from Hollywood. That is why both films are shot in United States, but with a really good characterization of my culture.
That's really amazing about your work because you managed to using another culture ideas projecting and showing us your really culture and your own. And then you have your first movie shot in Taiwan.
Yeah, it's called Eat, Drink, Man, and Woman.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And is your most famous, and it's a really big door for us to see your culture and with an aspect that in this part of the world we know and really love, that is your gastronomy.
Well, the idea was to use that and introduce a normal story. Si Lung is an old chef and single father of three unmarried daughters. Jia Jen, a religious chemistry teacher, Jia Shen, an airline executive, and Jia Nine, an employee at a fast food restaurant. So you can see the gastronomy in this movie.
Yeah, yeah. And really, another important aspect of this movie was the characterization of these three unmarried women. Why did you choose unmarried in this film?
Well, most of the people think that we are so conservative that we have really always find a couple. But as you can see, they all have their romantic relations and disappointments.
Yeah, to be honest, that really caught my attention. I know that a lot of people in the public are agree with me. You were able to mix traditional food and rituals that are really traditional and came with it, with a liberal way of living, and also show the potential of that negative effects that the liberal way of doing things. I mean, here in North America, US, and Canada, we are really familiar of that, but in your culture, it is shocking, isn't it?
Exactly. The fast food influence on this had a relation that brings hair juice, sets, and any other satisfaction in life. A story pretty close to some that I had seen in music.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. You can see a lot here in North America. And now I would like you to tell us what's your opinion about the change between living in US and North America and living in Taiwan.
Okay, I think that the principal difference between life in United States and life in Asian countries is the culture, because there are so many differences between people thoughts and people behaviors. I consider that Asian people used to be more thinking before do anything, so they are so analytic, and I really like this.
Yeah, that's true. The Americans are really, they don't think, they just act sometimes, and yeah, that's sometimes shocking. But what about the work there? Which
Uy,
should you prefer?
yeah, I love this question. I'm so excited to go there. It's all a dream, and there people really love work, and the actors are very hard workers and disciplined with his job. So I prefer work there than in any place.
So interesting your opinion about working in Asian countries and the difference between Asian countries, especially Taiwan, where you are from, and US. But finally, what do you think about the Chinese future? I know you are from Taiwan, you have some differences, but maybe you could tell us you are near less there.
Okay, I would like to speak about China's films. I believe that in films, China in 10 years will be more important than Hollywood.
Are you sure? Because well, that's a really hard quote. Uh, why do you think that?
Yeah, I'm sure because China has a big population and people who speak Chinese is bigger than people who speak another language. So the film industry is bigger in Asian countries than in West countries.
I see shocking, but I understand your argument, and I would like to interview you in 10 years, and we could speak about what's going on in the world of films between Hollywood and China. But now the final question. What can you tell us a little bit about your next film?
Mm, okay, in this moment, I can't tell you what will be, but I'm sure that it will like you and will like all my fans.
I'm sure about that. I'm really sorry about the manager because he told me not to ask that, but I have to try. Maybe it came up something. Thank you, Angli. Thank you very much for being here. And thank you, everyone, to see us. Have a good one, and see you next week with another really important guest and really another important celebrity. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity and for the invitation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and have a good one, everyone. Bye.